G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a 2-shot 10mm submachine gun with bullets exploding for area damage and 90% reduced weight, major and minor legendary effects respectively. And let me tell you something, this would have been the 10mm submachine gun to have back in the TSC days because it's got it all. It's got a high rate of fire as compared to the handmades, the combat rifles and the assault rifles, which for comparison's sake is at 75, this is at 91, and you've also got a significantly reduced weight as compared to those weapons as well. Now, keep in mind that the 90% reduced weight is kind of cucked by all of these parts that are put on it. On stock parts, it'd be weighing 90% less, but we're about 50% less with all of the parts added to it. So, you know, having this thing weighing 6.6 pounds there or thereabouts when not weightless is actually really good. Any players with an extremely low strength stat, which, you know, I have because it's a dumb stat for me, I need to fund perception and agility, man. Well, it's a really good weapon for that. So versatility is there. Unfortunately, there's no sights, but I've talked about that so many times before. So we're doing 70 damage with the hardened receiver, which is not too bad as a starting point. Keep in mind that our damage per shot is going to be eaten up quite a lot by all of the armor that our super mutants or our targets have, because, well, lower damage will just not hit through as much armor as you'd like it to. We've got the aligned long barrel and stabilized stock to keep the recoil pattern nice and vertical. That just makes it, that's a personal preference for me, but it makes it slightly more easier to guess of where your bullets are going to go or where the muzzle is going to drift. We've also got the perforating magazine for maximum armor penetration, so that kind of offsets the double projectiles. Probably be aiming mostly in third person anyway, but you can see, when I'm firing this thing, you can see what kind of recoil this thing is getting, because not only is this thing kicking hard by default, but the two-shot is going to make it slightly worse. Let's go ahead and chuck some perks on. We're not going to be using too much of that, and if I've got ground pounded, it'll increase the hipfire accuracy, which is useful for a TSC, because you actually want the bullets to hit. Unlike the old TSC days where you could, you know, blast them with splash damage as easy as that, you have to kind of get the hits in before you actually start doing any significant damage at all. So, you know, having that extra spread, I guess, or the spread decrease would be very useful for me, and going on and chucking Demo Expert for extra explosive damage, and Bloody Mess goes on as well, and now I've got 151 damage, which is not too bad. We've actually doubled it there, slightly over. Alrighty, so here we are outside of the Coruscant Senate building, and here is what I look like in third person. Now you might be wondering, wow, that dress and the submachine gun don't match. Shut up, there's actually a point to this. So we've got the red, which is the dress, the white, which is winter skin, and the blue, which is the submachine gun. It's a very patriotic outfit and setup here, so shut up, give me a like for American patriotism, which I feel nothing of. Anyway, so I've got chameleon armor, all of this is AP refresh except for that one. That's fine. We'll get started, I guess. We'll just stealth this for as long as we can. I've also got dodgy and evasive, so when I do get detected, like I am now, I'll be able to tank some of that damage very easy. And the AP regen is going to obviously help out dodgy a little bit. So, you know, taking less damage is useful. And I've got serendipity if I get super low, but, you know, at that point, I kind of want to be sitting around at that, sitting around at that, damage dash, or I guess damage to our health. I did not account for being crippled though. Don't worry, we can just walk this off. It's more badass when we're walking. There, look at that. Even at this range, I have to burst fire this thing and just tap fire it because the muzzle is being a little bit... I mean, I'm just going to shoot at a wall so you can see this. It hasn't been a very good start. I didn't actually expect to get shot in the leg and staggered like that, but whatever. So whilst we're healing up, we might as well took. We got 270 damage, and that'll drop off because we're losing adrenal reaction, but whatever. Okay, I think now I can settle down a bit as we're rounding the corner here. I saw a skirmisher, so he goes down nice and easy. Of course he breaks my leg. That might have been the leg that got crippled, actually. It might be the armor fell and failed me. There we go. So we're not doing too bad. As you can tell, we're killing these super mutants very, very easily. And I think this thing might actually still outdamage the TSC handmade, simply because the rate of fire is so high. I can just easily get the 5 shots in and move on, which, you know, is pretty good. You get those 5 shots very quickly, but yep, 270. We've got to 270 again. You might think that I'd, you know, get some more endurance perks if they increase our stat limits one day, but no, I'm chucking them straight into luck. I want to have a VATS build stealth commando because that would be even more ridiculous. Now, if I'm using something like Tormentor, I feel like I could roll the chance to actually cripple so many times. And if I had Sentinel armor too, that would make me even more tanky, but we don't need that kind of nonsense. All we need is the AP regen and Dodgy to do everything for us. And, you know, not using the AP for VATS is going to help us out slightly. And because if we stand around and not jump around, we might actually get the AP back very, very quickly. We'll just shoot him in his green bits, and we'll keep on going. So the performance of this thing so far hasn't been too bad. We're in Nerd Rage now at full adrenaline, 354 damage. If we were getting... Ironically, with the iron sights bugged as they are, it's actually easier to target things. There you go. Yeah, if we're using this thing pre-patched, it pales in comparison, obviously, but it's not, you know, devastatingly overpowered. But oh, he was sitting on the terminal the whole time. What a patient super mutant. My iron sights are still bugged, which, you know what, I kind of like. And the aligned barrel giving us slightly better hipfire accuracy. Too much fire, though. Maybe I should grab unyielding armor, so whilst I'm at low health, it boosts my AP to a point where I can tank more of that. Alright, so obviously the Grognak approach of just running in and shooting stuff isn't going to work when I'm being, you know, shot at by 15 different super mutants at once. Probably could have made the argument to chuck on something like Born Survivor, or just, you know, use a stim pack instead of trying to not. But, you know, we've got to have that little bit of interestingness. If I'm using stim packs every 2 seconds, it's just going to be boring to watch now, isn't it? Yes. Anyways, we'll keep on going, and the stealthy approach works a lot better when you're going one-on-one with enemies. As soon as a group spots you, you're kind of boned. That's kind of it. So, you know, using your abilities of stealth is helpful, especially when you've got something like chameleon armor, which, you know, can help you a little bit. That doggo was on a Segway and sliding towards me. How interesting. You see that so much in this game that it just kind of all blends together. It's like, yeah, I've seen that before. No effect on me. That's just Fallout 76 being Fallout 76, right? Anyways, I think we're done here. You can tell the damage per shot when we're getting it, and I do mean per the 2-shot, is not really that great. So, yep, we'll move on to a crowd control thing, see if we can't shoot some tools. Alrighty, let's send it, but I'm not going to be sending it through there because I got sick of triggering that trap. But that Radroach in there is probably going to die. Maybe I have to activate him. Oh, there's a legendary. I'll be sure to miss him to piss off everyone, but here we go. We've got the tools running through the front door. Let's see what we can do, eh? It'd be nice if I could see. Yeah, I'm aiming in third person from now on. Seems like the spread and the accuracy in hip firing, at least at this range, is going to be helpful. And if we want to spread some explosive damage nice and quickly, it's an idea. Well, we could blow up the bus, the ghoul bus for sure, but bouncing the explosives on the ground is not a terrible idea. You'll just kind of have to use quite a lot of bullets as compared to pre-nerf to get it done. Ah, Wendigo, you killed me last time, you bastard. He roared so ferociously that it casted a great light. Interesting. So, when I'm at full health here, I reckon I should probably chuck on Tormentor, because if I'm stopping the tools in their tracks and they're not getting to me, well, I'm not taking damage, am I? So, you know. Also, it's very dangerous running through here, and I've just gone over capacity. Yay, 2 strength. Love it. Oh, well. Ah, gun bash kill. Well, it would have been if he didn't heal off the damage, but whatever. We've got plenty of health, plenty of AP, and the AP will come back nice and fast because of my armor. Just run in and kill this last one, I suppose. Yep, that'll do it. And wasn't even at Adrenal Reaction and Nerd Rage, and we still got half decent damage. Not being killed by the ghouls as soon as they touch you is a good idea. Okay, we're not done here. There we are, as we send his torso, his legless torso, to the roof. Now, where was that goddamn legendary? Did I blow his corpse halfway across the map? Yes, I did. I got an exterminator's robot arm. Really? You made me record longer for that. See, this is why I don't go for drops whilst the camera's rolling, because of disappointment. I kind of think two-shot explosive weapons are where they need to be in terms of their effectiveness. There was no reason for them to be as overpowered as they were back in the day. I guess I'll have to finish this thought later because this one's dead already. He never puts up much of a fight, unless I'm using a Ripper, mind you. They've got the median point where, yeah, they're nice and effective, but their inaccuracy really limits their effectiveness at range. Crippling, however, is decent, and oof. Yeah, okay, someone's a little bit tanky over here. God, just die. But as you can tell, the damage output is not really all that spectacular, is it? No, it's not. Also, it breaks a little bit quicker. Haha, I can repair faster than you can run, crab. Hang on, I just need to hotkey this. Alright, back in action. Yeah, he didn't like when I repaired the gun with my mysterious repair kit, which I did instantly. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was jammed. You just had to pull the bullet out and then it was fine. Because they didn't have no durability back in Fallout 4. Anyways, there's the Kraken. It's dead. Got all sneak criticals on that. But yeah, I could be pushing the sneak criticals further, but I decided not to put Covert Operative on for defensive purposes and the fact that I was not going to be hitting sneak crits 100% of the time like I would with a suppressed weapon. I think they really didn't need to nerf it as much as they did though, because I think the inaccuracy limits its effectiveness to... Am I killing tadpoles again? Sorry, my lurks, but well, I guess they're little murmur babies, so I have got no qualms on exterminating the mole miners population, because, well, they're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them. You know what I also don't like? Sand, but that's another story for another video. Ha! I guess you can't do jack shit when I've got, I've got fireproof and it don't do nothing. Your plans are foiled, Murmur. Your groupies ain't got nothing on me. I can put 2 perks in and have 2 endurance and just tank these missile blasts like they're nothing. They are nothing to me. But yeah, I think the inaccuracy is, you know, it's punishment enough for using TSC weapons. They didn't, I mean, TS weapons in general, like, I didn't see the need to nerf them as hard as they did, but, you know, they're just kind of there. They're sitting in the middle. They're not that great. They're not spectacularly good, but they're a decent option if you've got nothing else, and you'll probably find them for cheap these days because the general player consensus is, nah, TSC weapons are bad, or TS weapons are bad, bro, because they nerfed them and stuff. I guess the best bit of advice I could give you for this type of weapon, well, at least with the unsuppressed variety, is just don't get overwhelmed. If you get overwhelmed, you die very quickly, and that's not good. You don't want to die. Luckily, Fallout 76 thinks dying is just like a, I don't know, it's just an inconvenience, like, I don't know, missing your luggage on your flight. You gotta wait for the thing to come back around, so after a quick wait, you're good to go again, basically. And I actually do want to use VATS against the Scorched Beast because I feel like it makes the explosiveness slightly more consistent, but if they've landed, there's no reason for me not to go full auto. Ooh, just snuck in there, and we'll quickly gather up a little bit of adrenaline on this one. We should be approaching full adrenaline now, and he'll go for the... Okay, he doesn't seem to be wanting to fly around. If I had Tormentor, though, I definitely would have locked him down at this point. And got a bunch of... Ooh, I actually jumped out of the way of that. Usually they get you like that, but this one's really interested in... Ha! Got him before he could launch. Really interested in punching me in the face, which, you know, is odd because obviously its best attacks are its ranged ones, so that was probably a bad idea removing it from the gene pool, but now we can get on to shooting these guys, and thank you, VATS. Yeah, this is one of the moments where it's slightly easy to get overwhelmed. I mean, not as easy as it would be with a bunch of muties with, well, if they stagger you, then yes, but a bunch of muties with automatic rifles. I I honestly pulled a lot of automatic rifle mutants back in West Tech, so I guess that's kind of the reason why, but it's not to the weapon's discredit. I probably should have been slightly more cautious about it, but, you know, if you want to full-on send it all the time, you probably want to be wearing something like power armor. Let that recoil go. It's crazy. Anyways, so I think that's it for this weapon. I'm not really amazed by it. I'm not disappointed. It's just kind of, it's performed as expected. It's definitely one of the better TSE picks in my opinion because of the high rate of fire. Anything with a super high rate of fire, especially the LMG. The LMG still kicks ass in TSE form, but I mean, what legendary LMG doesn't suck? I'd say Stalkers, but no, that's bugged and does more damage than what it ought to right now. But anyways, if you'd like to see this weapon in your game, let me know. I'm not really attached to it at all. I could probably let it go, but I generally get no responses here, so it'll probably go into the script bin or back into the stash. It's only weighing 3.3 anyways. Thank you for watching, guys.